throw all of that stuff up in our face as many times as you want, but that means that we will work harder for Trump. Is that not so, ladies?
Worst case scenario, if he slept with her, whatever, that's between him, the Lord, and his family. That is not about the job he's doing in running our country, in which he's doing an amazing job.
President Trump, as you know, facing allegations that he cheated on his wife, Melania, with an adult film star and a former Playboy playmate. But despite those accusations and other character issues, evangelical voters support the president in huge numbers. To help us understand why is Stephen Strang. He's the author of God and Donald Trump and founder of Charisma magazine. Good morning, Stephen.
Well, good morning, Allison. How are you?
I'm doing well. So explain to us again how it is that evangelicals are willing to overlook these reports of infidelity and other things to support President Trump.
You know, that's easy for me. That's easy for me. Donald Trump has had a reputation as a playboy going back to the 80s. I didn't support Donald Trump for a long time because I didn't approve of, what I knew as his lifestyle.
So
then
what
several
changed?
things. Well, I think he changed. I really do. And I talk about this in my book, God and Donald Trump. I interviewed him in 2016 and expected sort of the brash personality that you see in the media. I found him to be respectful, to actually be a little bit humble. I was amazed. And other people that deal with him say that he's a changed man. These allegations are from a long time ago. And when we elected him, the Access Hollywood tape had just come out, and people knew that he was not perfect. I bring that up again and again in my book because we Christians know that you have to have forgiveness and that God can change lives. And that the leaders in the Bible that we read about from King David on were not perfect in any way, shape, or form.
And no one's perfect, of course. But in order to receive forgiveness, don't you have to confess to your sins?
Well, that's between him and God. I believe...
Isn't that a tenet of the Bible? I mean, don't you have to own up to these things? You know, Donald Trump famously said he's never asked God for forgiveness.
Well, I'm glad you're quoting the Bible, but I think the issue is here, that's between him and God. The issue for me and for millions of evangelicals is his policies. He supports the kind of policies that we think are important. He has become a champion of religious rights, of helping persecuted Christians. I could go right down the line. And then, of course, the Neil Gorsuch appointment was huge. And those are the policies. He's done more to keep his promises than any other president.
I understand, and I hear you, and that one does make sense. But isn't that a little bit like saying, gosh, I really like Harvey Weinstein's movies, so I'm going to overlook what I know to be true about Harvey Weinstein, and I'm going to support him and give him money for his movies?
Well, look, there was an election between two people, and the other person was Hillary Clinton. In my opinion, one of the most corrupt people to ever run for president. You know, she tried to shame the women that came after her husband. I mean, and, what about the email scandal and everything else? She was not perfect in any way. And, of course, her policies.
What about the women who have accused that? You bring up a very good point. What about all the women who have accused Donald Trump, the 15 women who have accused him of varying degrees of sexual misconduct? What about them?
That's between them and Donald Trump. This will have to play out.
But why are you willing to overlook that and the fact that he's tried to shame them and called them all liars and talked about some of their looks and said that he wouldn't do, he wouldn't deign to sexually harass them? Look at their looks. Why isn't he shaming them?
Well, look, it's not about those kinds of things. It's about the policies. That's 100 times more important, the direction of the country. I talk about this in my book, God and Donald Trump, too, that millions of Christians were believing that the country was going in the wrong direction, and we prayed. We prayed, and God raised up a man that we didn't expect and that we didn't even like. But he has become our champion in a way that nobody else has.
But are you practicing some willful blindness in overlooking all of this to just look at the policies? Are you putting blinders on?
Not any more than the media did overlooking John Kennedy or Bill Clinton.
I
mean, what they did in the Oval Office was much, much worse than whatever is being alleged. Plus, we all knew this. We all knew it.
And
we
you're
just didn't
overlooking
know her name.
I hear you. You all knew it, and you've decided to overlook it. And it's interesting for me to hear you say that you're emulating the media, that you're using the media as the role model, since you're deciding to take on that behavior of the willful blindness, you're saying.
Well, I'm also a journalist, so I can do that. But look,
it's interesting for me to hear you say that you're emulating the media, that you're using the media as the role model, since you're deciding to take on that behavior of the willful blindness, you're saying.
Well, I'm also a journalist, so I can do that. I can do that. But look, this happened a long time ago.
You think it stopped in 2006? You feel confident that that Donald Trump did not cheat after 2006?
In my book, God and Donald Trump, I delve into that, or why this could happen. I believe that he accepted Christ. I quote people that say that. I don't know personally if that's true. And I have no evidence, there's no evidence at all that he's cheated, in recent years, certainly since he's been in the White House.
I mean, obviously there are many women who have come forward, the 15 women who have come forward to say that there was all sorts of misconduct, from groping to forcible kissing, even sexual assault. Do you believe those women?
Well, I want to make clear, I don't approve of that in any way, shape, or form. I don't approve of Stormy Daniels' lifestyle and her chosen profession.
But do you believe the 15
women? No Christian can do that. I don't know. I've not talked to the 15 women. I only know what is in the media. I know that I'm Donald Trump's friend as much as I can be. But even in my book, God and Donald Trump, I make clear that he is not a perfect person. It is not a defense of him. It's just grappling with the spiritual issues that have brought us to this point and raised this very unlikely president who is making huge, huge changes. And I believe in a positive way.
Stephen Strang?
Everything from trade deficits to tax cuts.
Understood.
I know we could go on and on.
You like his policies. I get it. You're the author of God and Donald Trump. Stephen Strang, thank you very much for bringing your perspective.
Thank you, Allison.